Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today we have to talk about a statement that came out on behalf of Jennie and YG surrounding the Jennie and V car photo. I also want to talk about some new updates that HYBE has dropped. So hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's playing mug merch, and let's get into it. First off, by next week we will have BTS's new Proof album come out and also the music video. I do believe the album and the single yet to come will be released on the same day. The music video will drop, I believe, at midnight if you're on the East Coast of the US, and it'll drop at 9 p.m. the day before if you're on the West Coast. But it's been a few weeks of quiet and not many announcements about what is to come. People think it was because they were filming their music video or rehearsing, and obviously things like their White House visit, which they were probably preparing for silently behind the scenes. But HYBE just announced some new news, and they mentioned that BTS will be performing yet to come June 16th, 17th, and 19th at various Korean shows. This means that the boys will be stuck at rehearsal for those days. We know how the boys like to rehearse right up until time to perform. And that's a pretty crazy schedule to do the performances back to back. It was definitely very interesting for me to hear that BTS didn't, at least not so far, have any plans to perform the new single or any of the new songs on American talk shows. And their upcoming performances will take place in Korea, which probably does mean that the songs are not English songs. I was definitely hoping for more English songs, but hopefully they'll do more of that in the future. I also do feel like maybe BTS just wasn't too into the idea of having too many English songs. They started their career obviously making Korean songs, and their album have very intricate lyrics and meaning behind it that is difficult to do in English for them. Also, previous more sensitive topics involving abuse and mental health that they have spoken about are not only sensitive in Korea, but wouldn't garner much radio play in America either. It would either be too political or simply just too sensitive. For example, American singers used to be able to sing about guns, and that is definitely not allowed anymore on American radio. BTS also gets a lot of hate in America, and I can only imagine it's tiring to think that no matter what you do, people are going to criticize. I find it interesting when celebrities have entered the White House in many years, people never complain about that celebrity, but it seems like several politicians were quite upset at BTS being at the White House. Now, given these are really weird times we're living in and stuff is happening that has never happened before in the economy or whatever, I can understand people are mad at Biden and think it's his fault. So of course, most of the criticism is directed towards Biden, not BTS. But it's strange to act like BTS being in the White House is not an important matter. Representative of Arizona, Andy Biggs, tweeted out basically asking what good is BTS being at the White House going to do, stating, does BTS have any idea how to reduce gas prices or put baby formula on the shelves? And this was mostly trying to dig at Biden, insinuating that Biden was goofing off by inviting celebrities to the White House. Now, a couple of things. As a politician, it's your job to figure out what to do with the gas prices and what to do about the baby formula shortage. Maybe organize and ship in from other countries. It's not a bunch of pop stars' job to come up with solutions to this. Second of all, BTS was at the White House to discuss another huge issue in America right now, which is the racism that Asians are experiencing and dying from. Like, people are being attacked on the street for being born. How convenient that in the list of things that was written that Andy claimed needed to be addressed urgently, none of those things were about the Asian killings, because he doesn't care that Asians are dying. And also forgetting that Biden and his administration can work on both the other issues in the state alongside fighting against racism at the same time. When I say things like people don't believe Asian racism exists, for a lot of people who are on the Asian side, thank you by the way, it can be difficult to notice or believe that there are people who don't believe racism exists for Asians because we see it so clearly and it's hard to believe that others don't. But here's a big example. An actual lawmaker or politician literally just blatantly said that the Asians that are being attacked, hurt, and killed are not priorities to him, and Biden getting ideas and perspective that BTS would exchange with Biden regarding the killings is not a necessary or urgent matter. There's literal proof that several people in power do not care about Asians. Anyway, that is my opinion. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Now, whether BTS will do more in America or not, that has yet to be seen, and I do look forward to seeing all that. And I hope BTS can promote more of their music in America, even if it's in Korean. I hope that around this time, the songs will get massive radio play. V and Jennie are still being attacked for their dating rumor in that car picture, which I find so interesting that this got so big. YG simply responded in their normal way of saying that they don't really have any comments. I think this is what threw gasoline to the fire. If YG did not respond like what Big Hit did, I think the rumors may have just died down because so many things the companies address actually blow up bigger. There was an incident prior where Jungkook hugged his tattoo artist friend, and because Big Hit addressed it, it's believed he's dating her. So this is why companies don't like to address or try to address as little as possible. But because of this, people were upset because they were hoping that if YG addressed this by either confirming or denying it, it would have stopped the hate that Jennie was receiving. However, I haven't really seen particularly awful hate sent towards Jennie. It is just being said that Jennie is receiving hate and death threats, and quite honestly, I can believe it, I just haven't actually seen it myself, which to me says that the hate isn't that big. But of course, there shouldn't be any hate, right? V has also been said to be getting a lot of hate too for quote-unquote dragging Jennie into this. And even if the pictures were real, which I don't believe they were, but if, it wouldn't have been V dragging Jennie, as the photo appeared to be a paparazzi or fan who took it. But because of this, Jennie's fan club actually decided to put out a message addressing the hate and addressing everything on Jennie's behalf. I'm sure Jennie appreciates it and of course the love and support, but I definitely wanted to read and talk about it. The fan club wrote, "Hello everyone, the statement has been made after discussing with fan bases of Jennie's fan union. Just recently, rumors involving Jennie have surfaced and the involved companies have chosen not to put out statements addressing the issue at hand, and it has perpetuated a very foul impression towards Jennie. Simultaneously, the output of this news, there is another issue that is being seen by many that has a direct connection to the situation. The media and the fans/non-fans with ill intentions have interpreted online activity that are now negatively affecting the public opinions towards Jennie. Whatever the intentions behind those actions are and whether it concerns Jennie or not, those actions are making people create a negative scenario of a situation they are not involved in personally. Currently, countless videos, forum posts, and even news outlets have alluded to those assumptions. We understand that journalists have latched onto these issues as it is their profession. However, we do not see the point of connecting every action of some individuals to a woman, and we kindly ask that the media refrain from doing so in the future. There is nothing more dangerous than narratives with absence of evidence being spread by fans and blinded sympathizers who have a social platform. At this point, we will be taking action. Earlier this year, YG reiterated that they will be closely ascertaining those who are issuing defamation against the company's artists. We will be collecting posts regarding this situation that portray Jennie in a very negative perspective without any evidence. We will include both international and local posts as well as we do our best to collate and forward this content to YG. If you come across these posts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or K forums, please send it to us or message or reach out to your local Jennie fan base that would collate on the fans' behalf. Thank you, Jennie Global Union." This is by far the most proper and professional statement I have seen of this issue of fans urging others to help. Oftentimes I've seen statements that seem so out of reality and don't make any sense, while this statement seems like it was written by someone who understands the world, the situation, and is smart. However, I would add that if YG has mentioned that they don't have any comments or maybe insinuating that they don't care, then what the fan club is attempting to do is collect evidence and send it to YG. All of that would be pointless because YG would not see the issue as an issue of defamation or anything like that. Just a theory. I honestly think that their response is great because by simply not caring or not giving an answer, you are simply telling everyone that the dating rumors are not a big deal and everyone needs to calm down. And I more so hope that will happen in the future and there can be less worrying within the fandom. People also believe that J-Hope was photoshopped in the original car photo, and the actual clip was taken from a moment in the series In the Soup, which you can watch with me. Check out my Patreon, link down below. So there's a lot of people, including the fan clubs, also believe that the quote-unquote photo is of J-Hope. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. I think it says lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.